Good morning, and welcome to our virtual Family Fest, which is set to be filled with fun, education, support, and togetherness. I'm Joy Melendez, Director of Education and Outreach for the Brain Injury Alliance of New Jersey. We are excited to have you with us today and look forward to a fun and interactive day. Today's workshops include nutrition, yoga, open discussion, question and answer with the state and the Brain Injury Alliance of New Jersey, and conclude with an art project. At the end of the day, we ask you to please complete a short survey that will be emailed to you. The mission of the Brain Injury Alliance of New Jersey is to support and advocate for individuals affected by brain injury and raise awareness through education and prevention. We will go into further detail on how we carry out that mission later on in the agenda. The link you received in your email to join us provides immediate access to all activities offered today. You have the option to attend for the entire day or pick and choose to your liking. If you have any trouble getting to a workshop, you can email Chris Hopwood, our technology coordinator, at khopwood@bianj.org. Funding for today's program has been provided by the New Jersey Department of Human Services, Division of Disability Services, Traumatic Brain Injury Fund, and the New Jersey Department of Children and Families. On behalf of the Brain Injury Alliance of New Jersey, I would like to thank our Corporate Circle sponsors, the Board of Trustees, all committees, volunteers, and staff for their ongoing support and dedication to the Alliance. Our first presenter is Winifred Hudis from the College of St. Elizabeth. She will be speaking on nutrition and brain health. Once she is finished, please stay with us for the yoga workshop and other activities throughout the day. I will now turn it over to Winifred. Thank you.
Hi, good morning. Thank you, Joy, and thank you for including me in your Family Fest for the Brain Injury Alliance of New Jersey. I've never done a food demo from my home, so this is kind of an exciting opportunity. The topic today is nutrition and brain health. I'm going to be making a few things for you today. So the first thing we're going to start with is a mixed berry smoothie. I'm also going to help you put together a dinner plate, which includes baked salmon, leafy green side salad, and a homemade olive oil dressing. I'm also going to talk to you about incorporating more meatless meals into your eating pattern over the week. So let's get started because we only have an hour together, and I want to make sure I get to answer any questions that you might have when we conclude. So the first thing, like I said, we're going to start with is making a mixed berry smoothie. And why did I pick a mixed berry smoothie? Because of these mixed berries. Berries, blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, blackberries, that's all mixed into this bag, but any berry is considered healthy and considered a brain healthy food because of their antioxidant behavior and neuroprotective benefits. So how do we start? I use, you can use a regular blender if you have one at home. I have what we call a magic bullet. So I mix everything into this little cup, and then I'll show you how I put it into the blender. But like I said, if you have just a more traditional blender that's a stand-up blender at home, use that. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is I like to use frozen berries for my smoothies, but if you have fresh berries at home, use those. The reason I like to use frozen berries is because I can buy a big bag like this, pop it into the freezer, and I'm ready to go anytime I want to have a mixed berry smoothie. We're going to measure out 1 cup of the mixed berries, and you can see they're still frozen. I'm just going to pour it right into my container. Okay. Seal that back up. Now, I like to use milk in my smoothies, but if you're not a milk drinker, that's okay. You can use almond milk, soy milk, rice milk. There's so many alternative drinks now that still provide benefits like calcium. So you just want to check that ingredient, the ingredient list on where the nutrition label is, and just make sure that it's fortified with calcium. And then you know that you're getting a good product. So I'm going to measure out 1 cup. And I'm just going to use the same cup that I used for the berries. All right, so I measured out 1 cup and I pour it right in, just on top of the berries. And if you switch up the order, that's fine too. This is just how I'm mixing it all together. The other thing I like to do just to thicken up my smoothie a little bit is to add a little bit of Greek yogurt. I like to use plain Greek yogurt, and the reason I like to use plain Greek yogurt is because I think the berries provide a sweetness, like a natural sugar that is already there. So if you start with a plain product, then taste the smoothie when it's done and see if it's as sweet as you want it to be, because these berries really do provide a nice blend of flavor without adding a lot of extra sugar. So I'm just going to put a couple of scoops in. The other thing about Greek yogurt, which is so beneficial, is it has protein in it. So a combination of the berries with the fiber, the milk with there's some protein in that as well, and your calcium, and then your Greek yogurt with the extra protein adds a lot of nice satiety, a feeling of fullness. So this really could be like breakfast in the morning before you're heading out for the day, or if you're staying at home, mixing this up, and this could be your breakfast, or it could even be a really nice healthy snack when you get home from work, or when the kids get home from work, or anytime that you're feeling like you want something a little bit healthy and a little bit filling. All right, so the way the Magic Bullet works is I'm just gonna screw on this bottom. I'm going to give it a nice little shake. And if you're using a regular blender at home, you don't have to do what I'm doing. You just have to mix it all together. And then I'm just going to mix it up. And it blends really nice and smooth. Let me show you what it looks like. And then you can just pour it out into a glass. And there you go. This is the mixed berry smoothie. It really took, not very much time to put together, just a few ingredients that you might actually already have in your household. Again, the tip really is to keep these frozen berries in your freezer so that you're ready to go anytime. Okay, and so here is your smoothie, your mixed berry smoothie, ready to go. So I'm gonna put this off to the side, put it over here. Excuse me as I kind of maneuver around my kitchen with all of my things. I'm going to move this off as well so that I can bring on the next thing that I'm going to show you guys how to make. Okay, so now the next dish I'm going to make is a full meal for you, a baked salmon. And why am I picking salmon? Let me show you. I've already taken the salmon out of the container. This is a fresh piece of salmon. I've already seasoned it. The only thing I did with the salmon is I put pepper, a little paprika. You can do anything that you want as far as seasoning goes. I would tell you that this is already somewhat of a salty fish, so you don't really have to add salt to it, but you could definitely add any other seasoning that you'd like to add. Why am I making salmon? Because salmon has omega-3 fatty acids, which is essential for brain development and cognitive function. So it's considered a brain healthy food, and it is one of the nutrients that has been studied quite a bit pertaining to brain health. Now, we always think of salmon. I think of salmon when I think of omega-3 fatty acids, but you don't have to just eat salmon to get omega-3 fatty acids. You can tuna, sardines, herring, edible seaweed. I have a couple of samples of that for you. I wanted to show you that while I'm cooking a fresh piece of salmon today, you can definitely get the health benefits from canned as well. So this is canned salmon. This is canned tuna. I also have canned sardines. And if you're looking through the grocery store, I think I got this at ShopRite. This is edible seaweed. So you can definitely get omega-3 fatty acids from different sources, not just the salmon. So now I'm going to pop the salmon, excuse my back again. I'm going to pop the salmon into the oven. I like to bake my salmon on a grill pan. And before I put the salmon down on the grill pan, I just sprayed it a little bit with some canola oil. And then I put it right on, and I pop it into the oven. Temperature is 375, and I put it in there for 20 minutes. And the way that you know that your salmon is done is when you take it out, it really shouldn't be pink in the middle, like kind of raw looking. It should be flaky. So about 20 minutes for this size salmon, and it should be ready for you. So I'm going to let that bake. And then while that's baking, I'm gonna put together a leafy green side salad and a homemade olive oil dressing. So let's start with that olive oil dressing first. I have everything prepared for us right here. I like to put fresh lemons in my olive oil dressing, and you can really use any olive oil. I got this olive oil at Trader Joe's, but you know, anywhere you do your shopping, but olive oil is the best olive oil to use. It is considered one of the healthier olive oils. If anyone is familiar with the Mediterranean diet, that particular eating pattern has been studied quite a bit in relation to brain health. And one of the benefits of that particular eating pattern is olive oil, because olive oil is consumed in that region of the world, the Mediterranean, most days of the week, if not every day. So I'm gonna make a salad dressing for you with olive oil and give you a couple of other tips on how to use olive oil every day in your regular foods. Okay, so what do I need to get out? I have my Pyrex, my measuring cup, I have some salt and pepper, my lemons. So I'm just going to pour the olive oil right into the measuring cup. And I am going to pour, I'm going to pour a 1/4 cup. I'm going to start with a 1/4 cup. Depending on how many people you're making this salad for, if you need more than that, then you can just, you know, double what I'm sharing with you. But I'm going to start with a 1/4 cup of olive oil. You can see that is quite a bit of olive oil in there, but we do need enough of that, you know, this healthy fat to coat our salad nicely. And then I'm going to cut a fresh lemon. Now the lemon is excellent because it provides some antioxidants. There's some great vitamin C in here. Antioxidants in our foods, like the mixed berries that I talked about, are excellent for overall health, but also in relation to brain health. So that vitamin C, I'm just going to squeeze it right in. I have this great lemon press. I've had it for years. I think it is one of my favorite tools in the kitchen. But if you don't have a lemon press, no worries. You can really just squeeze this lemon right in. Just really give it a good squeeze, best you can, and get all that lemon juice out right into the olive oil. And you'll see when the lemon goes into the olive oil, it's kind of hard for you to see it, you know, virtually in this format, but you can see it kind of emulsifies a little bit. You can see some bubbles, and that's perfectly fine. You can see it almost looks a little like there are little thick bubbles in there, like globules of fat, but it's not. It's just the lemon that's in that olive oil, and it's perfectly healthy. If you get any seeds in there, you might have to strain those out, but don't worry, it's okay. I like to just use salt and pepper to taste. So just a little bit of pepper. And really just a little bit of salt. I like to just pour it right into my hands, just a little bit, just sprinkle it right in, not too much you don't want to overpower the taste of that fresh olive oil. And then I'm just going to mix it all together. And you can see, it might be hard to see again in this virtual setting, but when I mix it all together, it gets a little bit cloudy. Because you can see this olive oil, how clear and gold it looks, and now it's a little bit cloudy. That's perfectly fine. That's the lemon mixing in with the olive oil. This is what it should look like. And I know you can't smell through the computer, through the laptops, but it does smell nice and lemony and fresh. So now I'm going to put this over here to the side because I'm going to bring over the salad. So now we're going to make this salad, and I'm going to use arugula lettuce. And I just bought the arugula lettuce in this container. You might, if you go to the grocery store, really any grocery store, just spend a little time in that produce aisle, and you'll see that arugula might come in a plastic container like this. It might come in a bag, or it might come fresh if you're going to a farmer's market. But that's what arugula looks like. It's dark green, leafy. I just mixed it right into the bowl. The reason, let me just stop for a second. The reason that I'm using a dark green leafy vegetable is because this also helps with neuroprotective benefits. It helps to promote brain health. And one of the recommendations that's coming out of research right now is that, yes, we should be eating more fruits and vegetables overall. So I would say right now, if you're not consuming at least 5 servings of fruits and vegetables every day, then try to consume fruits and vegetables every day. But the next thing to really start to consider is to incorporate dark leafy green vegetables every day, at least 1 serving every day if you can. So what is a dark leafy green? Well, arugula, because I'm using that to cook with today, but also romaine lettuce. You can see the dark leafy green from this romaine lettuce. A lot, you know, if you go to the produce aisle again, kale, spinach, collard greens. Now, does it have to be a fresh serving of dark leafy green vegetables? Not necessarily. So you can definitely use frozen. If you keep frozen bags of spinach in your freezer, then you always have that sort of ready to go. So you don't necessarily have to eat salad every single day, but it is a good idea to start thinking about cooking with or eating dark leafy, 1 serving of dark leafy green vegetables every day. Okay? So I just put in some arugula. This is probably enough for 1 person, what I put in here. But if you have more than 1 person in your household, you're going to mix in all of that arugula in here. You're going to take some of this olive oil and just pour it on top. And I like to mix with tongs because then you can really just mix everything up all together. You want to really cover the leaf without saturating it. So you know what? The first few times you try to do this, you might be practicing because you don't always get it right the very first time. So I'm going to go ahead and put this off to the side actually, and then put the whole dinner plate together when the salmon is done. The other thing I want to show you is what I'm going to mix into the salad are almonds. So actually I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. Why am I mixing almonds in? Well, almonds provide a healthy fat, vitamin E that we get from healthy fats. Vitamin E is considered a fat-soluble vitamin, and it has also been studied with its association to brain health. So I'm using almonds today because that's what I had in my kitchen cabinet. But you can also use walnuts, pecans, pistachios, even peanuts have vitamin E in them. So do vegetable oils, including plant seeds, sunflower, sesame, pumpkin, flax. So all of these nuts and seeds have vitamin E in them, which have it's a very potent, very strong antioxidant. It again, like I said before, it has been studied in relation to brain health. So just incorporating nuts and seeds into your day, into your weekly eating pattern can really provide some great health benefits. So I'm just going to mix that right in. And just to add, oh, sorry about that, just getting used to this sort of format. And then also, just to add a pop of color and some additional antioxidants, I'm adding a serving of tomatoes. And you know, if you're not a tomato person, chop up any other vegetable, because you know, this adds some really nice color, and you'll see it all together on a dinner plate in just a moment. But it adds some really nice color together. And then this is at least 2 servings of vegetables right here, because we have our dark leafy green vegetable, we have our tomato. So right here is 2 servings. So let's say, for example, that I started my day with that mixed berry smoothie. That's 1 serving of fruit. I'm having this salad with my dinner tonight. That's 2 servings of vegetables. So maybe at lunch or for a snack, I've incorporated another type of vegetable or another type of fruit. And there you've hit your 5 servings of fruits and vegetables per day. All right. So I am just going to put this off to the side. You know, before I started, I forgot to tell you guys, before I started, I did wash my hands for a full 20 seconds. Every time you're about to start, you're in the kitchen, you're about to cook, take out all your ingredients, you want to wash your hands, and you want to wash your hands for a full 20 seconds. Just like we're washing our hands for a full 20 seconds for public health right now with the coronavirus, you want to do the same thing for food safety in your kitchen. And anytime you're touching raw meat, you always want to wash your hands before you move on to that next food item. So what I did, so that I didn't have to turn my back and wash my hands in front of you, is I washed my hands before I got going. I had already put that salmon into that grill pan. But remember, anytime that you're touching different types of foods with your hands, you just want to wash your hands. And if you're ever in doubt, just wash those hands. Food safety, think about that. All right, so I'm gonna pull the salmon out of the oven. I'll tell you, I went ahead and kind of did it like a cooking show, because I prepped it, I cooked it a bit, but I had already cooked some salmon earlier so that it would be easier to plate for you. But like I said, it's really easy to make the salmon. I went ahead and already put it on a dinner plate. I think you can see that. So this is a serving of salmon. If I hold my hand over it, it's about the size of my hand. So that's 3 to 4 ounces of salmon, that omega-3 fatty acid healthy fish that's going to provide that brain health to you. And I went ahead before we started today and I made some brown rice, because another great tip for brain healthy eating patterns is incorporating into your day 3 servings of whole grains. And I'm going to talk a little bit about other whole grains, but right now I'm just going to show you that brown rice, which has a really nice amount of fiber. It also has some good minerals and some vitamins that are really helpful for protecting brain health and overall health just in general. So I'm going to bring that salad over and I'm going to put our plate together. And if you don't like to mix your food, then just put everything into separate bowls. That's perfectly fine. I just wanted to put everything on a plate all together for you so you can see what it all looks like. And if you want to eat more salad, if you want the plate to have more salad on it, then go ahead, put more salad on it. And here we go. This could be dinner tonight. You have your salmon, you omega-3 fatty acid, you have your whole grain from the brown rice, you have that dark leafy green side salad, which has that neuroprotective health benefits. You have the almonds with the vitamin E, and then you have an extra serving of vegetables in the tomatoes with the antioxidants and other beneficial health benefits from those tomatoes as well. So there's dinner tonight. I'm gonna have to make sure I cover this up and put it in the refrigerator so I can heat it up for later. So I'm gonna put this over to the side. Excuse me. Okay, I wanted to talk to you guys about a couple of other things that have been shown in research to promote, that have health benefits. And one of those things is incorporating more meatless meals into our overall week. So part of brain healthy eating is consuming less red meat. It's consuming less saturated fat and trans fat like fried foods, so less fried foods, less sugary beverages, and less dessert. So you just want to eat those things less often. Poultry maybe one or 2 times a week. So a lot of times we're left with, well, what do we eat if we're eating red meat less? If we're eating poultry or chicken and turkey less often? Well, definitely fish. And for fish, you want to consume that 2 to 3 times a week. There's no need, actually, no health benefit to consuming fish every single day. There is a concern, some people may have heard of mercury that might be in fish. So you definitely want to stick to just 2 to 3 servings of fish per week so that you don't have any, you don't consume high amounts of mercury in your diet. And if anybody has questions about that, we can talk about that during the Q&A. So one of the things that's been going on for quite a while, and maybe you've heard of it, or it's called Meatless Meals or Meatless Mondays. It was a campaign that was started to encourage people to substitute animal protein in their diet on Mondays and to consume more plant proteins. A lot of people don't realize that plants have a whole host of benefits besides just vitamins and minerals and a good amount of fiber for us. A lot of them really do provide a nice amount of protein. So part of the neuroprotective benefits or brain health is to consume meatless meals more often, to consume plant proteins more often throughout the week. And what does that mean? Beans. We eat beans in our household really often. I just pulled for you some samples just right out of my cabinet. Canned beans are excellent. These are kidney beans. These are chickpeas, which is considered a legume, so beans and legumes. I also like to use dried bags of beans and chickpeas. You can soak these overnight and then just follow the directions on the bag. If you have an Instapot like I do behind me, I like to cook my beans and my chickpeas or my lentils in the Instapot, but you can definitely cook them right on your stovetop as well. Just follow the directions on the bag. And tofu. We make a lot of tofu here at home. A lot of people tell me that they like the taste of tofu, but they have no idea what to do with it, so they avoid it. They never pick it up in the grocery store. So what I would recommend is, I like to use extra firm tofu. There's different textures. So if you like something that's a little bit more firm, make sure you're choosing tofu that says extra firm on the label. If you like something or need something that's a little bit softer in texture, then you want something that says less firm or soft. It'll actually say that right on the front. You know, the best thing to do is yourself or a family member or a friend, you could Google what to do with tofu. But I like to drain the tofu. It comes in liquid. You want to drain off the liquid, and then you can marinate it in anything that you want. You can grill it up. I have a few great recipes that I just found online, and it's again trial and error sometimes. So some things really were hits and some things weren't, but we just persevered with it. And we do like to eat tofu in our house, along with beans as well. So I'm just going to put the beans back on the tray here, and I'm going to pull over some samples of whole grains. Because the other part of consuming a brain healthy diet is making sure you're getting enough whole grains in your day, every day. So again, when I was putting that plate together, that dinner plate of the salmon and the salad and the brown rice, I mentioned that you should be consuming at least 3 servings of whole grains every day. And a lot of people, when they think brown rice, yes, that's a whole grain. They ask me about pasta and white rice. And I always tell them, those are healthy foods. And if you like to eat white rice, then eat white rice. But try other things as well. Oatmeal. These are things that I just pulled out of my pantry. So it doesn't matter the kind of oatmeal. I have steel cut oatmeal. What I always do recommend to folks, though, is if you are consuming oatmeal, that you want to pick something that's plain. You can do the 1 minute oats if you want, but if you start with a plain product, then you can sweeten that up yourself, and you're eliminating all that added sugar that can really add extra calories, that doesn't really add so much. It doesn't really benefit us with regards to brain health. So start with a plain product, and then you can add into it what you want. One great tip is you can add your serving of berries into your oatmeal. So there's another way to incorporate berries into your day if you didn't want to eat them just plain. So you have the steel cut oats, corn tortillas, brown rice, and you can see the brown rice I just bought right at ShopRite. Muesli, which is a cereal that I like to keep in the house. It's just it's very high in fiber. It has 7 grams of protein. I'm just reading right off of this nutrition label. And muesli is a combination of different types of grains and nuts, usually, and some dried fruit mixed together. And popcorn. I like to pop my corn. I have an air popper that we've had for years and years and years. I think we might have bought it at Walmart or Target. I'm not sure. But popcorn is considered a whole grain. So if you're looking for a good, healthy snack, pop your own popcorn versus the microwave popcorn. So those are some tips on how to incorporate whole grains into your day. plant proteins, meatless meals. Consider some meatless meals into your day. I think I'll take some questions now because I kind of went through everything a little bit faster than I thought I would, but we do still have a lot of time left. So does anybody have any questions for me? I'm just gonna head over here a little bit closer to you.
Winnie,
Yes.
we actually have some questions in the chat room.
Okay.
If you don't mind, maybe I'll read those off first.
Okay.
The first question is, how long do smoothies keep in the fridge once prepared?
That's a good question. And I can answer that because I had to test that out. The smoothie can stay in the fridge for it can stay in the fridge all day. So if you made it in the morning and you wanted it for when you get home from work or school, then you can just keep it in, you can keep it in the fridge. You just might have to mix it up. So when you get home, you might see that things have separated, which is perfectly fine. You just either have to mix it up with a spoon, or you can pop it back into the blender and blend it again. But as long as you're keeping it refrigerated, it should be fine. And that goes for if you want to make it ahead of time and take it to work. You just want to have a way to mix it before you drink it.
Thank you. Another question from the chat room is, how much greens is one serving?
Great question. Very good question. So it depends on, the food item itself. You can always read that nutrition label and see what they're saying a serving is. But general rule, I always tell folks, is 1 cup. So 1 cup of, spinach, like frozen spinach, that would be considered a serving. When it comes to like arugula and romaine lettuce, it might be a little bit greater than that to receive the benefits, maybe closer to 2 cups, because if you smash that arugula down into a cup, you can get quite a lot in there because it's not a product that lays flat. So if you're measuring it out, I would say at least 2 cups. If you're really sticking to measuring. If you're just plating though, if you're plating a salad, you can let me just grab that. Let me grab my dinner plate. If you're looking at a dinner plate, you could make half of your plate your salad, and that would be a great serving of that dark leafy green vegetable. And again, I'm right next to my freezer, so let me just pull out. I want to make sure that people know that there are a lot of different options. Here's frozen spinach, and it's 1 cup. Like I said, it's 1 cup. So there are a lot of different options to incorporating those dark leafy green vegetables into your day.
Thank you. The next question, is there any alternative to fish with regard to salmon for my allergies?
So if you have an allergy, is it an allergy to fish or an allergy to salmon? Is there any way to find that out? Or what I can tell somebody is fatty fish, what we know as it pertains to omega-3 fatty acid and the health benefits, the neuroprotective benefits, are that it does come from the ocean in a sense. So I see all fish, so you're allergic to all fish. And so that edible seaweed, you might have to double check with your allergist or your doctor because it does come from the ocean. It is not a fish, but you can incorporate that edible seaweed to get the omega-3 fatty acid. So here's what I'll tell you if you are allergic to fish and you cannot incorporate it. There are alternatives. There are like different seeds, hemp seeds, chia seeds. Flaxseed is an excellent source of omega-3 fatty acid, which is not at all fishy. So you can maybe even with flaxseed oil or ground. I'll show you. I have it in my refrigerator. I have a ground flaxseed, and you can cook with it. You can sprinkle it into food. This might be a great alternative to getting that omega-3 fatty acid. What we do know in research, though, is that the omega-3 fatty acid that is the specific type of fatty acid that is in a non-fish food may not convert the same way in the same it provide the same exact benefits as like a serving of 3 to 4 ounces of salmon. So you might have to consume, like get creative and consume these non-fish alternatives a little more often to get the benefits. And I would say too, to talk to your doctor if you see a regular primary care physician, or if you have a neurologist that you speak to. They may suggest taking omega-3 omega-3 supplement as an oral supplement, but check with them first, because not that it would be harmful, but there's some question whether like taking a supplement provides any additional benefit. Okay.
Thank you. So another question.
Yes.
Would you suggest getting an Instapot? Right now I have an air fryer.
Oh, so I don't have an air fryer, but I'm looking into getting one, because so many of my colleagues and clients that I work with and patients that I talk to have air fryers and love them. I got this Instapot a couple of years ago, and I love it. I use it all the time. So what I can tell you is, think about what it is that you want the Instapot for. Like I said, I like to start off with these dry beans, dry lentils, different legumes, rice. I like to make all of that in the Instapot. Soups and things like that. I like to make all that in the Instapot. So I did a little bit of research to figure out, like, what does the Instapot, what do I want to cook? And would the Instapot work for me? And that's how I made that decision. I feel like the air fryer works differently than the Instapot. So you might decide that you need both kitchen appliances in your house, but they are big and bulky. So, again, I love my Instapot. I don't have an air fryer, so I can't really say. If I had an air fryer, I might tell you I love my air fryer too.
Okay. Do you think you could provide any information on what an air fryer does?
So an air fryer, what it does is it's the cooking method. So instead of let's say I wanted, so let's take a potato, for example. Everybody loves French fries, but in order to have a really good French fry, you have to deep fry it. So an air fryer allows you to cut up that potato, and it bakes it. It cooks it in such a way, it's circulating the air in such a way that I believe by using just minimal amount of oil that you coat the potato with, you still get a little bit of that crispy taste of the potato. That tastes a little bit, it tastes a little more like something that was deep fried, but it wasn't. So you have all those health benefits. So a lot of people love that air fryer. They cook if you meat, fish, different vegetables in the air fryer. It's just a different way of circulating the air to cook the food instead of using a deep fryer.
Another question. Can you explain how an Instapot would actually differ from a slow cooker, also known as a crock pot?
Yeah, and I have a crock pot. So there are many different types. So my Instapot is sort of the more basic Instapot. And, each year, every couple of years, they come out with, with different bells and whistles for your Instapot. So some of the Instapots have a slow cooker feature, a slow cooking feature. So in that sense, it's the one kitchen appliance, replaces your crock pot. But the Instapot is also a pressure cooker, which a crock pot is not. So if you're needing to, if you're wanting the features that, to cook your food utilizing a pressure cooker, then you'd want the Instapot. But in many cases, you can replace that crock pot with the Instapot, because it does have sort of that slow cook feature as well.
Okay, we have another question from the chat room.
Yeah.
If unable to cook, would you recommend buying prepared meals or frozen stuff from the grocery store?
Sure. You know what? If you're not able to cook, then yes. Because what's the one thing we can't live without is food, right? We need nutrition, and we need to provide ourselves with healthy, nutritious food. So if you're if you're relying on frozen meals, what you want to take a look at, well, first ask yourself, can you prepare, basics? Can you prepare, if you're preparing a frozen dinner, that requires, taking something out of a package and putting it in the oven, could you, you get frozen spinach and heat frozen spinach up and have that be your side. So, sort of start thinking, what am I able to do? What can I do? But if you're looking at already prepared food items, you just want to take a look at that nutrition label. A lot of times those foods have a lot of sodium. And the sodium can be, just really, it can just be a high amount that is not really, I don't want to say suitable for a healthy diet, but if you're consuming too many processed foods like that or too many frozen foods, you might just be consuming a lot of extra sodium. So just double check and make sure that that these frozen foods, there are a lot of food companies now are coming out with lines that are lower in sodium, so I would choose those. And then just make sure that your food that you're heating up has, vegetables, and some kind of healthy whole grain and some kind of, protein with it. And if you're relying on ordering in, if you're, ordering in from a restaurant, then just double check the menu and see, there's so many ways, so many things, like when you look at a menu, you can order, the salmon, or you can order a side of broccoli rabe. That's a green vegetable, or a side salad or something from, if you're ordering in. I'm not sure does that answer the question, or did you?
It's like it. Next question. It seems that dairy does not have a very good reputation these days with regards to inflammation and digestion and what have you, lactose intolerance. What are your thoughts on this? And can you offer alternatives for calcium?
Sure. So my thoughts are that, I think that milk products, yogurt products, I consume them. My family consumes them, not in high amounts every single day. But we do consume, like I showed you, milk and yogurt. But if you do find that you're, kind of getting that upset stomach every time you're consuming some kind of dairy product, then like I said before, look into soy milk or rice milk or almond milk. These are all what we consider alternative drinks, alternative to milk. Many of them now are fortified with calcium and vitamin D. So if you're, if you want to consume most of your nutrients from your food sources versus taking a supplement, then I would, just again, make sure you're reading that nutrition label. And in the ingredient list, you should see calcium. You should see vitamin D. That should be part of what they have fortified that drink with. Is that helpful?
Yes, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Next question. We know that salad dressings can sometimes be high in calories, sugar, and fat. Do you
Yes.
have any suggestions on what kind of healthy dressings I should look for?
Well, you know what? If you have the time, then I would, recommend making your own. But let me answer first, if you're going to a grocery store, and what you should look for. What you're looking for is something that, most salad dressings, the base is an oil. It might be a vegetable oil, like olive oil or sunflower oil or soybean oil or canola oil. The oil is fat. It's a healthy fat. So even the salad dressing that I made for you today, if I was to break down the ingredients for you, it's going to be high in fat. But olive oil is considered a healthy fat. So if you do find salad dressing that has an olive oil base, then that's one thing to look for. If you make it on your own, then you really control any sugar. You can see the salad dressing that I made for you today. I didn't add any sugar to it. Any of the sweetness is coming from the lemon itself. I did add a little bit of salt, but I had control over how much salt I put into that food item. So, I would encourage balsamic vinegar is typically a very good, very healthy salad dressing if you're going to buy something off the shelf. You do not necessarily have to buy organic. It can be any kind of salad dressing. Just take a look to make sure that they haven't added a lot of sodium to it. Paul Newman's actually makes a pretty good dressing, but I don't mean to just pick out just one company. I'm just thinking of Paul Newman in my head. We make a lot of salad dressing here. And then if you're choosing something that's non-fat, low fat, or regular, sometimes the taste changes so much that you really, just don't like it. So I'll be honest, I like ranch dressing. I always have ever since I was little. But I don't like the taste of the low fat ranch dressing. So just a little bit of the regular every now and then sort of satisfies. So that's what I would say about dressing. If it's non-fat, then they really, you're probably not getting any of the health benefits from the oil itself, because oil has fat in it. It's fat.
Thank you.
Mhm.
What are your thoughts on what the best drinks are for the brain? Does coffee have any benefits?
Oh, well, I would say, first I'm going to answer the first thing is, as far as drinks go, water, stay hydrated. Dehydration can cause headaches even in somebody who has not experienced brain injury. So if you have experienced brain injury, mild to severe, just stay hydrated, making sure you're staying hydrated with water. You can always flavor your own water with lemon or oranges or sliced up cucumbers. If you need, if you just want to flavor your own water, I would recommend that you do that and have that become part of your typical routine. When it comes to coffee, I have not read anything that says that coffee is prohibitive to somebody who's had a brain injury, but in moderation. So if you have coffee in the morning, maybe 1 or 2 cups, I think, that type of caffeine would be perfectly appropriate. I would, soft drinks tend to just, have a lot of extra sugar or extra chemicals if you're consuming something that's a diet soft drink. I would not consider that to be, I wouldn't consider it to be a brain healthy food, but I wouldn't consider it to be a brain healthy drink in general, regardless of brain health. So, but I would think coffee would be fine, in moderation.
Okay, next question.
Mhm.
If my husband has stopped eating mostly, can Ensure or other products take the place of food? What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, yes. So if your husband, well, there are a couple of ways I'm gonna answer that, because I've seen that in working with patients at the hospital, especially in our neuroscience, at Overlook, there's a neuroscience floor. So if your spouse is not consuming enough calories, through food that is provided, then yes, absolutely. He needs to be consuming what we call a nutritional oral supplement, like an Ensure. They're perfectly healthy. I would check with, you also want to just double check and make sure, is your spouse not consuming foods because maybe they're, the texture or the thickness or the liquid, have they had a swallow evaluation? Is there something else that's going on that is changing, how they're consuming or able to consume food? But I would say yes, Ensure, Glucerna, all of those drinks are perfectly healthy. A lot of them can be pretty high in sugar. That would be the only downside. But if somebody's not consuming foods, then the benefits outweigh anything, of the sugar that's added for the taste. You could also learn how to make your own at home if you're able to. Making your own smoothie that has some healthy calories and some protein. But there are a lot of really great, what we call, like I said, nutritional oral supplements out there. You have to define the need. So I would just, if this is a new change, or if you've seen this change over time, I would check with your physician. You definitely want to get his weight checked, your spouse's weight, see if he's lost any weight. You want to double check that swallow. And then you could meet with a dietitian. I would definitely recommend meeting with a dietitian to determine what nutritional oral supplement would benefit him the most.
Okay, next question. Can you recommend a website or websites and or cookbooks with recipes for brain health and nutrition?
So the website that comes to mind right away is called eatright.org. So that's just eat, E-A-T, right, R-I-G-H-T.org. And this is a website from the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, which is it's the professional organization that dietitians belong to. So they have an excellent website. They do have some really nice flyers and tips on brain healthy foods. You could also look at, I'm trying to think, I feel like a colleague just came out with an excellent cookbook, which, Laura, is there a way for me to maybe put together some information and share that with you? Because I don't know the exact title and I don't want to give it out incorrectly.
Yes, you definitely can do that, and we can get that up on our site.
Okay, so I'll get that information to you because I just saw that she had written a cookbook, and I thought that seemed really, like would be an excellent source for this topic. The Mediterranean diet is a big part of the foundation of this, of a lot of what I recommended for you today. So if you're looking for a cookbook or anything that's following the Mediterranean eating pattern would be beneficial as well. But I'll put something together along with that eatright.org website and what you're looking for and share that with Laura.
Thank you. We actually have another question from the chat room. Can you talk a little bit about your views on energy bars and energy drinks? And are they recommended? Are there any good ones? Anyone to get away from?
So, I think of, I think of those as two different food products. So an energy bar, the way that I define an energy bar, might be something that's nutrient dense, that provides a lot of calories, maybe some protein in kind of like a small, like easy to carry, like maybe like a Cliff Bar. That might be that's what I would consider an energy bar. So what you're looking for in that type of product is you want something that has that's going to keep you full. That's not just like a simple carbohydrate that could be classified more of as a candy bar versus something that would benefit you. So you want to make sure there's fiber in that food product. Maybe you could find something that's somewhere between 4 and 6 grams of fiber. That's a lot of fiber in one food product, can really help you stay full. So something that has fiber in it, something that has protein in it. As far as carbohydrate goes, that is an energy source. So you don't want something that's too low in carbohydrate necessarily, especially if this is like a meal for you. So you want to look at energy bars as either a meal replacement or like a really hearty snack that sort of tides you over between, perhaps lunch and dinner. If there's going to be like a 6-hour time gap between those two meals, and you tend to, have sort of a dip in the afternoon and need some extra calories. As far as energy drinks go, I define an energy drink as something like Red Bull. So it's almost like a coffee. It's a soft drink that's been infused with caffeine. So I'm not a fan of those, but I'm not a fan of soft drinks in general. If you feel like you need a Red Bull in the afternoon, let's say, try staying hydrated first. It might take a couple days, but make sure you drink water throughout the day, or just try black coffee is what I would say.
Okay. Can you talk a little bit? We actually have less than 5 minutes left.
Okay.
Can you talk a little bit about fast foods or foods that people tend to pick up from like Wawa, Quick Check, 7-Eleven? Any healthy options that people should be mindful of?
Yes. So, definitely, I feel like a lot of companies, McDonald's, Burger King, Wawa, like you said, they've all tried to come up with some healthy alternatives. So, the trick is really, finding them and making sure that when you get to the restaurant that you're sort of aware, like making sure that you order. Most of them have salads, grilled chicken salad, so you have that protein, you have that green leafy vegetable. A lot of time they give you way too much salad dressing for one serving. So I would say, use a third of what they've provided to you, a third to half of whatever that container is. Make sure you're putting the salad dressing on yourself. Anything that's not fried. So, in a lot of the fast food places, you can ask, instead of getting the French fries, you can ask for, sliced apples or some kind of fruit. A lot of restaurants have gone that route. At the Wawa, you can order, if you're ordering a sandwich or ordering a tortilla, like a wrap or something, just, I would say stick with, if they have low fat tuna, that's better. A lot of times the regular tuna has a lot of mayonnaise in it. And if you're relying on stopping at the Wawa more often throughout the week, then, the turkey meat, lettuce, tomato, really try to load on as many vegetables as you can, would be a tip on that. You could even do, cheese slices, hummus. A lot of these, Wawa, Subway, a lot of them now have hummus as, which is just ground chickpeas. It's just smoothed out chickpeas. So there's some nice protein in that, some fiber in that. So if they offer hummus, use that in place of mayonnaise, or use that in place of any kind of meat that you would put on your sandwich. You just might have to, you can also go to their websites before you go if you have time, take a look and see what their offerings are before you get there.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Winnie.
Yeah.
We clearly have gotten such a wealth of information today, and we do appreciate it very much. If there are any other questions, please feel free to email us at BIA&J, and we will be glad to relay the information back to Winnie. So
Great.
This concludes our workshop on nutrition and brain health.